From Montana's news leader, this is the MTN 530 News.
I'm Mike Dennison in Helena. Coming up, we take a look at the battle over the drawing of Montana's new congressional seat.
Well, smiles all around today at Ben Steele Middle School as staff received a big thank you. We'll unveil the surprise in just a bit. But first, a live look from our Stockman Bank weather camera. 80s just 48 hours ago, and now dark skies, chillier temperatures, and severe weather moving in all across the area. Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Jeanelle Slade. Well, from rumbles of thunder to lightning strikes, the bumpy weather has already begun for some, and that theme will keep moving through our night. Chief Meteorologist Ed McIntosh is tracking everything in the Q2 Weather Center and joins us now with the very latest. Ed.
Springtime in Montana and Wyoming. We've got snow over a foot in some areas north of Great Falls in the higher elevations. But let's concentrate on southern Montana and northern Wyoming, where we have thunderstorms starting to develop, especially in the areas to the east of Billings. We've been talking about this the last few days. Very heavy rain. We're seeing quite frequent lightning as well. In fact, here's a look at what's happening right now. Everything in those blue shaded areas are all lightning strikes. You can see that from Gillette extending up towards Broadus in Powder River County. We've also seen some hail out of some of these storms as well. So far in northern Wyoming, anywhere from about pea-sized to about penny-sized hail. But we'll continue to follow that storm system and give you the rest of the forecast coming up in a little bit.
All right, thanks so much, Ed. Well, now that Montana is getting 2 congressional districts instead of 1, someone has to draw the lines for those new districts. Well, that someone is a 5-member commission, and it's meeting next week to start outlining the rules it will follow to decide those boundaries. And as MTN's Mike Dennison reports, things are bound to get political.
The Districting and Apportionment Commission has 2 Democratic and 2 Republican members, and as you might guess, with very different takes on how things should go. Here's Democratic Commissioner Joe Lamson talking about his vision for one of the 2 new districts.
Hopefully we can create a district that is a competitive district where a good candidate of either party can go out and make their case and see if the voters support them. And
Republican Commissioner Jeff Essman.
Whether the district is lean R or not, frankly, is less of my concern than that the process is proper. I don't think achieving a certain outcome should be the way the process works.
Next week, the commission decides ground rules for devising the districts, which must split the state in half by population. The panel won't propose actual maps until the fall, after it gets more detailed population data. But that hasn't stopped people with mapping software from drafting proposals that favor one party or the other. For example, here's one that puts booming Bozeman into the Eastern District, which Democrats don't like.
Every Republican plan that I've seen puts Gallatin County in the east, and that's a old gerrymandering tactic called cracking, where they put a strong Democratic area into an overwhelming Republican area just to drown out their votes.
Or this one, which puts the Republican strongholds of Kalispell and Libby in the Eastern District and lumps together Democratic strongholds like Missoula, Butte, Helena, and Bozeman.
That is an obvious partisan gerrymander that's been floating around social media for the last 2 years. There's no history for that, no reason for that other than achieving a political outcome.
In the middle of this debate is the commission's nonpartisan chair, Maylin Smith, a former tribal judge, law professor, and currently civil prosecutor for the Confederated Salish and Kootenai tribes on the Flathead Reservation. The state Republican Party already has blasted her as a closet Democrat, criticism she says she's tried to ignore. Smith says she'll cast a tie-breaking vote when needed, but would rather forge a consensus on the commission whenever possible.
I am very capable of putting any of my personal views, political views aside, and determining what is fair in accordance with what the Constitution says we're supposed to do. That's my role.
Some part of fast-growing western Montana will have to be in the district that includes eastern Montana to make things even, population-wise. Montana State University political scientist David Parker says it would be nice to create at least one competitive district between the parties, but in reality, he says Democrats are going to be disadvantaged for the 2022 election no matter what.
Because of the delay in the process is going to take so long to figure out exactly where those lines are going to be drawn, Democrats are kind of frozen for the moment. And there's no big Democrat out there sitting there that I think that could just jump into the race last minute and have a massive impact.
The commission will decide the district lines by November, and they'll be in place for next year's elections. No matter how you cut it, get ready for a battle. After all, it will determine a big part of Montana's political landscape for the next 10 years. Reporting from Helena, Mike Dennison, MTN News.
Thanks, Mike. Now, incumbent Republican Congressman Matt Rosendale would run for re-election in one of the new districts, but the other one will be an open seat. Well, another vaccine payday at the Shrine today, and there's still time to get there. County health workers tell us when the clinic started up at 1 o'clock this afternoon, there were already at least 100 people lined up. As of 3:30 today, 280 people had come through the doors for their shots and the $50 cash incentive. A second anonymous donor gifted $20,000 to the Riverstone Health Foundation to give $50 to each of the first 400 participants. Riverstone Health has a goal to reach about 500 people before it all wraps up tonight at 7 o'clock. Well, this week, local organizations are celebrating National Emergency Services Week. So today, St. Vincent Healthcare honored local EMS professionals with the barbecue. Over a 3-hour lunch session, EMS workers stopped by the hospital emergency department to take in some burgers, hot dogs, and fellowship with other medical staff.
The EMS folks are the hard workers because they get up, they respond, they work in all different environments and conditions, and they really have the tough job as far as a bad car crash and out on the middle of a road in a field or on the rims and trying to do some kind of extrication in those situations. So they really have the tough job. I have a lot of help. I have all the help I need.
For me being a director, I don't think people know how much time and effort the EMS providers put into their job and how much passion they have for it, especially in a volunteer area like we're in. People literally volunteer their time to come in and take care of the people that are sick or hurt in their community. So an opportunity just for them to be recognized for a whole week is fantastic.
To learn more about this special week, head to this story at ktvq.com. Well, it was a day of smiles at Ben Steele Middle School, and it took a true team effort to make it all happen. Today, those who worked so hard to make their students' lives easier heard a big thank you as every member of the Billings Public School staff was honored. Q2's Brandon Warren brings us tonight's Positively Montana.
The Golden Apples Committee teamed up with the Education Foundation to give Billings Public School staff a well-deserved gift. Every staff member received a gift bag, complete with candies and even a gift card to a business in town. Some staff members even got letters.
This is Golden Apple time, and
Thank you.
Because Golden Apple looks a little different this year, we offered it up to all of our students and community members and families to just write letters of appreciation, just kind of share what they feel or how they feel about our teachers this year. And you got 2 fat stacks of letters.
The Education Foundation raised the money for the gift cards entirely through community donations. But sometimes, money isn't everything.
The letters are the best. That's what means the most, to see what the kids enjoy about you or enjoyed about the class and how you impacted them.
Without every member of the staff adapting and working hard to do the best at their job, in-person classes would not have been possible this year.
The amount of work that they've put in this year is just incredible. They've done it with grace and dignity.
It really is about the teachers and all the staff. They are all part of what makes schools work for all the students. So we just wanted to recognize all of them.
It's not only the parents and community that recognizes the hard work the staff has put in, but the students also.
The thank you to the teachers, a big thank you for what they've had to go through this year.
In Billings, Brandon Warren, MTN News.
Thanks, Brandon. And Brandon tells us the gift bags and letters were sorted and delivered to every Billings public school. Well, up next on tonight's MTN 530 News here on Q2, Blackfeet Community College is set to unveil a new tool, a plan to fight a crisis that continues to plague Montana. We'll show you next.
Hi everybody, Scott Breen in Laurel. Coming up straight ahead in sports, top marks from today's Class B and C track and field divisionals.